Everybody, it's Cathie Allan, and I am here today with Creative Scrapbooker magazine, and we are going to make this amazing, simple black and white beauty. Oh, this is going to be so much fun. What I'm going to be playing with is, oh la la, some amazing images from Impression Obsession. Be forewarned, you get to Impression Obsession's website and you might as well get that big cup of coffee or big cup of tea or a giant glass of wine because you're going to be there a while. They have amazing images for you to play with. So I'm going to be using the VersaFine. Okay, so here we have VersaFine quick drying pigment ink. No time to emboss with these kids. This is not going to stay wet long enough to grab embossing powder. It is a fast drying pigment ink. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be taking this this beautiful stamp. I'm going to ink it and I'm going to stamp it just up here. I'm going to start it up there in the corner of my card. In case I screwed up, look what I'm going to do. I'm going to stick in my sub positioner that I've got from my Cathie Allan Position It. Most of you have these floating positioners, but they do this. This one doesn't slide at all because it's got sticky little feet on there. So it really does, when I'm doing stuff like this, quick cards like this, it's my favorite way, just in case I screw up. So that's my first one. Now I'm going to, what I've done on the clear acetate, okay, is I have inked this stamp up, and you can see I've stamped on there with VersaFine because you can see it smudges. So you can stamp on there with VersaFine. It will wash off your clear acetate, but now we can see where the next image is going to go. So I'm going to take this back, and I want to stamp this one. And I want this image to go right there. I'm going to take that one out, and I'm going to ink my stamp again with my VersaFine, and it is exactly where I want it to be. So you could sit here and watch me do this, or I can just go in here and you can see I've continued to stamp this across this piece of paper to create this beautiful background. So now all I'm going to do is you're going to grab a pen, a black marker of some kind, and all I did to do this was color in between the images. When you're done, what I did was I fussy cut this along the edges of this piece of paper that I've created here. So you can see when I'm done that we're going to end up with this beautiful edge. So there's the top half of your card. We're going to set that aside for now. And we're going to create the bottom half of the card. Look at how perfectly this is stamped. I'm going to show you how I did this. This is so much fun. So in front of you, what you see is my Cathie Allan Position It. This is where my sub positioner came from. It came in this tool. It is an extra tool that I use to do very many techniques. But this is a positioner that does positioning, plus it does repositioning, plus it does any size piece of paper. You can work from very small to a very large piece of paper. So what I did was I took the clear piece of acetate that came in the box. I stuck this puppy in the corner just like that. Actually, I better just like that, say right in the corner here. Inked my stamp with VersaFine and stamped that image right down onto my positioning clear piece of acetate here. So to help me position this, and this is the actual size of cardstock that I need, I am going to actually use some beautiful repositionable tape, and I'm going to attach it to just a scrap piece of paper here. And because this is on a bigger sheet of paper, it makes it actually very easy for me to glide this underneath and line that beautiful ticking, it's called ticking, this 6x6 stamp, exactly where I want to see it on this piece of paper. I'm going to ink my board, my stamp, and I'm going to stamp this image. Here it is. I've put my foot on it, and oh my gosh, look at that. We have a beautiful stamp. So this is a beautiful way to get that perfect image. I could get really finicky and I could restamp here, but this, because we're going to put the flowers on top, you will never see it. Once I had fussy cut this out, it went on top of the background. I have added a beautiful Kraft medley butterfly, but I wanted to pop it. Now this I wanted to emboss, so I need to change my ink. I want to emboss it, so now I need a pigment ink that's going to stay wet longer, so it will grab embossing powder. This is where your VersaColor comes through. This is your pigment ink from Sukaniko, and I am just going to ink this little butterfly. There you go. It's all inked. But to make it shiny, what I'm going to do is pop it through some embossing powder. So here is the butterfly, and I have added the embossing powder, and now it's nice and shiny. The only piece that you really would like to know how to do is how I've stamped this gorgeous word stamp onto the piece of vellum that we have here. Now we can't use the VersaFine on vellum because this will not dry. Even if you heat it with a heat gun, it will not dry. If you try to heat it with your iron, you'll curl the paper. So what I'm going to get is this brand new kit on the block, this StazOn pigment ink. I am in love. Pigment ink StazOn. This is an amazing stamp pad, and it comes in other colors. So love the way this stamp pad works. It's going to dry so quickly, and you can use this stamp pad on every non-porous piece of material that you want to stamp on. And I am just going to simply stamp my image onto my vellum. When was the last time you could happily stamp on a very porous on a non-porous piece of paper and get that kind of detail? This is an amazing stamp pad. So this is how I created this beautiful card that you see here. I put all the pieces together and added a really funky ribbon. And of course, I did the ticking on the inside, which is the start of a beautiful interior for this card.